Hello, lovelies. Welcome to Horror 421, the podcast, with your host, your friendly small-town horror author, Charles Campbell. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the frights in this week's episode.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Horror 421, the podcast. I am your host, small-town horror author Charles Campbell, and today I have a very special guest. I've been admiring from afar for a few years. I've seen some of his work through Bandit Motion Pictures, but he's done a shit ton more than that. So, welcome to the show, Jason Crowe.
Thank you. I have done a shit ton of things, that is for sure.
Well, you know, all the stuff I've seen you in, I've really liked. I think you're a great talent, and one thing that you told me to go watch for homework was New Fear's Eve. I watched that yesterday, and I've had Hannah on the podcast a few times and want to get her back on because she's done a lot more stuff since the last time I talked to her. But with all that being said, I'm going to be quiet for a minute and let you introduce yourself to my audience and kind of let them know who you are and give us a little brief background, and then we'll get into some banter.
Okay. Well, my name is Jason Crowe. I've been making or working in independent film for nearly 20 years now. Wow. Live in Kentucky, so I'm usually on this side of the world, but I've been able to travel around the U.S. making crazy movies and, you know, getting naked at people's houses, whatever. It's, you know, if you've seen my movies, you understand what that means.
Well, I did see New Fear's Eve, and man, you're
safe. You were safe in that one.
Well, your death scene was. I don't want to reveal it on the podcast, but guys, go watch New Fear's Eve. He has a very unique death scene. I'll put it that way. He does die. I will tell you that, but.
It is interesting. We had a lot of fun with that one. I have died in many ways.
Oh yeah,
that's up there with the weirdest, but not the weirdest that I've done. So,
well, you've been in the industry for quite a while, and I looked at your IMDb, and you've done, you know, you've got a vast filmography. But before we talk about any of that, tell me, you know, kind of what got you interested in the acting gig, and who were your influences growing up, and did you always want to be in the horror genre? Is that your field of choice, or is there other things you would like to work on?
It has become my field of choice. I want to do a little bit of everything as an actor. I think all actors, you know, want to challenge ourselves in all the different genres. But I love the horror genre. It's kind of been my bread and butter, I guess. People let me do crazy things, and that's always fun. I kind of found acting by accident, though. It was theater, community college theater. I didn't actually. I went to school for art. I was going to be a comic book artist.
Oh, nice! When
I was younger, yeah, I wanted to do that. So I'm a big comic book nerd, which, if you can't tell behind me, so I collected comics for until I probably collected comics for a good 12 years or so. Wanted to do that. Met an ex-girlfriend almost 20 years ago at that college where I was studying art, and she was acting in theater, and she had me drive her to an audition. I had no thoughts of ever being an actor, and she talked me into auditioning while I was there. They all did, and I auditioned, and that was it. That was the bug. As soon as I got up there and auditioned, it was for like Wizard of Oz at a community college theater. Did that audition, you get that instant gratification. Everybody's like, "Oh, that was great. That was great." And that's the drug I've been chasing ever since.
Well, when you were a kid growing up, did you like horror movies? Were you? And as a kid, I also collected comics. I started collecting in the '70s, and Spider-Man was my guy, and I collected all the way until I was 30 years old.
Good stuff.
Well, I don't anymore. It's all gone now. But
oh no.
Yeah, but I had some high dollar comics that I didn't know were high dollar at the time. But anyways, I digress. But what were some of your influences? I can talk about
comics all day. So.
Oh yeah, well, my life centered around Spider-Man and Marvel characters, but he was my guy. So Marvel team up, Spidey super stories, even when I was a little boy, all that stuff. But anyway, we can get off into that tangent, but I'm not. I'm going to stop myself. But as a kid growing up, you know, if you gravitated toward horror, was there any or were there any horror icons, or did something kind of hit you over the head and you said, "Oh wow, I kind of like this"?
Man, it's kind of crazy. As a kid, even as a teenager, I wasn't.
Well, that's still a kid.
Horror at all. I was. Yeah, I was. It scared me a lot of the time. I remember watching Nightmare on Elm Street for the first time. Man, I don't know why I remember this so vividly. I was with my friends outside, and my friend, when did Nightmare come out?
84.
Okay, so I wasn't even I was born in 77. So, don't tell anybody.
Oh well, you're not that much older than me. You're not that much younger than me. I was born in 69, so we're kind of in that same area.
Oh, that's a good number.
Yeah.
I remember this vividly. I was out hanging out with my friends outside. We were playing, riding our bikes, whatever. And she said, "Hey, are you going to go watch Nightmare on Elm Street tonight?" Because it's when it was airing on HBO.
Oh wow!
And I was like, "Yes, I am." Because your friends, you're like, "Yeah, I know what that is. I'm going to do that." No clue what it was, not at all. And I went and asked my mom. I was like, "Hey, can we watch Nightmare on Elm Street?" And she goes, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's watch Nightmare on Elm Street." And we did, and I regret it because I was so scared. And Freddy freaked me out. The body bag scene was by far the most frightening thing to me. Still sticks with me to this day. It's so creepy.
Nice.
So no, I was scared of horror. I have I remember riding my bike to a video store. Again, this is how old we are. And I went in and I was looking at the VHS at the time, and I was at the kids section, and another kid came in. He was at the horror section. He was like, "Hey, come and look at this." And I'm like, "Okay." Didn't want to look at any of that. And I remember him picking up Toxic Avenger. And I was like, "Yeah, I know what that is." And as soon as he left, I went back over to the kids section, rented Velveteen Rabbit, and left. So,
nice.
I was a big chicken. I don't really know what led to horror. I think just the first film that I ever got a chance to do after theater was a Dead Moon Rising, which was a zombie movie. And for some reason, it stuck. And then from there on, I became very knowledgeable about horror. I watched them all. I love them now. I love it all now. But as a kid, no way. No thank you.
Well, I'm going to get into this a little bit, and we can definitely talk about your other stuff for sure. But I kind of saw you through Bandit Motion Pictures. I did see you and didn't know that I saw you. When I go to horror conventions, I go to some to sell my books, and when I'm there, I usually try to pick up an independent film or two from, people who are putting that stuff out there. And I picked up Wicked Ones, and I didn't realize you were in that until until today when I was doing a little extra research. So I've actually seen you in that, but don't remember it. So I have to go back and pop that in. But I kind of want to get
I was one of the bad guys.
Yeah, and I kind of want to get into how you got involved with Brian and Scott in this kind of bandit formation, because you guys do some great work together, and some of your best work, in my opinion, that I've seen, I haven't seen your whole catalog, has been with those guys, and particularly Gus. I think Ellie did a great job in this. Your role was excellent too, but two films that I thought you were superb in were Badman and Harvest Lake. I really loved you in Harvest Lake for sure. So again, I tend to ramble, so I'm going to be quiet and kind of let my listening audience and me know how you got involved with Bandit Motion Pictures and Scott and Brian, and how you formed that friendship and bond.
So it's kind of funny, Brian and Ellie, we became friends. We met at the cat. Get off! My cat's probably knock over the light. Hey, doofus! Over here. I knew you were going to be a nightmare.
I got a sleeping beagle over here. Right now he's asleep.
We'll just edit that part out.
There we go.
So I met Ellie and Brian at I want to say it was like a Horror Hound or something like that. Mm-hmm. And through a mutual friend, and we became friends via Snapchat. And we literally became very close through Snapchat, just being our weird selves. We just had a lot in common, got along. We were all weirdos. And I noticed they were doing Headless at the time, and I had said, I'd love to be a part of that, and they told me, hey, send your headshot and reel to Scott. Scott and Arthur and Shane and Leah, they were all working on that, and so I sent it in, and they would already, it was way late in the process, so they'd already cast everyone, but they was like, oh well, Scott said he liked my reel and remembered me for the next project, and he did, and I want to say that was Legend of Wasco after that, and they actually filmed at my house there for Legend of Wasco. We did a lot of stuff nearby in Louisville where I live, and that's really where we all became like very close, and then we just kind of started the journey of I don't think I'm an official member of Bandit Motion Pictures, but I'm a subcategory of Bandit. We all become very good friends.
Well, you're the Harvey Korman to Carol Burnett for sure. At least.
Yeah, there you go. Asked me some of my people that kind of inspired me. Harvey Korman, but Tim Conway, he was my guy. Like Tim Conway he's somebody I idolized and tried to mimic a lot. So it's funny that you bring that up. So yeah, I love that kind of humor, and I love the stuff that Scott and Brian and those guys, Ellie, they were all doing. And I think we found now that Ellie and I have done the most movies together of anybody that we have worked with. So. And they keep casting me and letting me do weird things.
Well, that's good because you and Ellie have really good chemistry together, and you play off of one another very nicely. Out of the Bandit films, I think Gush is my favorite so far. I think favorites flip back and forth in my head, but a very close second, and it may be my favorite tomorrow if you ask me, was Harvest Lake. I thought it was pretty ambitious for what it turned into. I mean, there was some really high production value in here, and they have some cool special effects in here, which I won't give away. Scott and I talked about it just a tiny bit on his episode.
Yeah.
But tell me about this film and how you got involved with it, and what were some of the challenges. You were superb in this, by the way. I loved your character in this movie.
Thank you. That one. So I want to say that was right after Legend of Wasco, and Scott just had faith in me, and he knew I wanted to try different things and not just be, the goofy, funny horror guy, which I love, but I want to try different things, and so he cast me in that role, and it was challenging because I got to be the final girl, and I like doing things that I've never done before, which is kind of hard for me at this point because I've been around so long. I've done all the things pretty much,
right?
And so that was the first time I got to play a gay man, and had a scene with my friend Kevin Roach, and it was just nice to do something different and out of the norm, and people have faith in me to do that because I was nervous. I didn't want to disrespect anybody or anything like that. And that one is the one I get commented about the most. Like that's the first time I had won an acting award or even been nominated since I've been making movies.
Right.
Harvest Lake was the first one.
Well, you're so good.
So that was cool, and thank you. It was working with all the cast and crew there. It's just easy to kind of just be natural and feel comfortable because we all just kind of hang out and have a good time anyways.
Right.
So it's things come off a little bit more natural when that's the case, and they kind of let me ad lib a lot of stuff, so that's always helpful for me. That's kind of what I'm known for at this point, and on the indie scene they just Jason show up and do the Jason thing. So
well, you talk about the comedy stuff. You do have great comedic timing, and you talked about Tim Conway. And I loved watching the old Carol Burnett shows when he'd get the cast a break. Those were the best ones. Those were the best ones.
We watched it religiously. We never missed it.
Well, we watched it when I was a kid before Shock Theater, used to air on like a Friday or Saturday night, and right after it went off, our local horror-thon came on called Shock Theater, and we had Count Justin Sane who hosted the show, and he'd show a cheesy horror movie, and we were little kids, me and my brother, and we were scared to death watching these things at midnight or whatever. But I digress. But talk about the comedic timing. Space Babes from Outer Space. You're funny in this too, man. Yours were mostly in the titty bar, right? I think that's where you were.
Yeah.
Lodged. Yeah. Tell me how much fun this was to make.
Wasn't a bad place to be.
Yeah, it looked like it was a riot to film. I don't know if it was as fun making as it turned out that it appeared to be. But tell me about it, man. Was it a blast?
Well, I had a great time. I was just an actor on that one, so I had a great time. This is a lot of beautiful people up there dancing on the stage, and I just get to be like, I'm enjoying this. It wasn't difficult acting, but at all. And it's just fun to hang out and just be silly. I love doing that kind of comedy. It's just to kind of joke with your friends. It's there's never a bad day with that. So it was a good time. A lot of good people. I got a lot of different substances thrown on me in that film for sure.
Okay.
I had some goo stuck in my ear for about a week.
There's something about Mary. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. It was a true story. It was that's another reason I think they cast me, is they know I'll just do whatever. And they're like, oh, let's throw some stuff on somebody. Who could we get for that? Jason. That'll be, yeah. So, but I made the mistake on Legend of Wasco. This is another reason why this has all happened. On Legend of Wasco, and I don't think, you probably haven't seen that one yet.
I have not.
But it's based on like clowns are resurrected, and they start killing people or whatever, and they come after us. And Arthur and Shane were doing the effects. And Arthur, who is the clown in Batman. This is how I met Arthur. There's a scene where I take out one of the clowns. He's on top of me. Well, I don't take him out, but he's on top of me, and he starts to bleed on me like this black goo. And it's just Arthur. The camera's over top of me, and Arthur's kind of behind it, and he's just basically spitting black goo through a straw on me, and that's how I met Arthur. And I was like, I love this stuff. Like, it's so weird to just look up at a dude like spitting black goo on you. Like, I love it. And I was like, I'll do this all the time. And they were like, okay, bet. And
right.
I've been doing it all the time since then. So
we got our guy.
A creature of my own making. Yeah.
Well, you're I went and looked at, like I said, your IMDb or BD or whatever the initials are. You've got a vast filmography. As an actor, what have been some of the and learning lessons? What are some of the biggest challenges that you've had and hurdles you've had to overcome? And kind of, what have you learned up until this point? Because you've done so many things in so many different styles. I kind of want to pick your brain there. So how have you evolved?
It's acting, and just starting from theater and moving forward, like it is, it's built so much confidence in me, because I was like a pretty shy kid in school. I only had like 2 or 3 friends that I really hung out with, and just didn't really, bother with anyone else. Not because I didn't like people, it was just because I'm a very social person. But I was just a shy kid then, and then finding theater, started to kind of find myself and my confidence, and then film kind of really allowed me to kind of break out and kind of become the person that I am. And just by doing things that are uncomfortable, like just making film in general, I could just be standing here and have a line that's standing by a car, but like, hey, look, so-and-so's here. But you're doing it in front of, 10 people looking at you, camera here, boom here, just so much going on, that you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable. And it just kind of builds that confidence in you. And, then doing nude scenes, things like that, you have to be confident, or at least comfortable. There's not much to see here, but it just kind of, you kind of get to do things that you wouldn't normally do, out in public. You might be shunned for some of the things that I've done on camera, but and some of the more difficult stuff I've done, you'll have to excuse me. I burned my hand, so if you see my jacked up hand, you look like Freddy Krueger right now. The Bad Man was kind of a hard one to do. I think I saw that you talked to Scott about that one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was acting wise. That was difficult because one, I love Arthur, but he was a nightmare. Yeah, and not just on screen. Like afterwards, he was fine. He's like normal Arthur, just hanging out and being goofy. But we were so traumatized by him, Ellie and myself, and the stuff that we put ourselves through it because I'm a bit of I like to have realism and stuff that I do. So I put myself through some things like the dog food.
Oh yeah,
that was real dog food.
Oh no way, really?
So yeah, it wasn't gonna be. They were like, I was like, my friend Brandon, he was the one working on that at the time. I was like, go get me some dog food, and he's like, we have beef stew in here that we were going to give you. I was like, no, just go get me dog food because I want. Yeah. I'm a bit of a method actor, so.
I have to give you some fresh pet.
But man, it was, and the whole idea of that was, I want. The first time that I ever eat dog food in my life, I want it got on camera because hopefully it's going to be disgusting and I'm going to throw up and it's really going to like play on camera,
Right.
And then when we shoot the scene, it's because I didn't really eat too much of it, so what you see is kind of the first times that I'm eating.
Right.
And really the whole time I'm thinking, it's not that bad. It was fine. It was like cold hash.
The director goes, "Cut! We got to reshoot that. That wasn't a good take."
Because I was wanting, I really wanted to like get sick and throw up. Like, that, for the stuff that we were doing, that would play really well. Then I'm just like, it's just like cold breakfast hash. It's fine. I don't know what my dog's complaining about. It's okay.
Well, I really enjoyed that movie. Scott didn't seem to. I think he liked the first half of it, and then the back half he was like, it kind of things happened, and you had to kind of put things together. But it was seamless to me as a viewer, so I thought it was great, and I thought you did a great job in that.
Thank you. That second half was rough. We filmed on one of the hottest days ever in existence that we can think of. It was the days where Alice was there playing the Mantis character, and I'm in that leather mask, and it's just Ellie's in that makeup, Dave Parker's in all his masks and stuff. It was super hot, and that's when I really let my hair start growing long, was because we had so many months off between the first act and the last act. I let my nails grow out. I don't know if you see at the end, but my nails are real long in the end because I was just trying to do that feral thing.
Right.
Again, because I'm weird and a method kind of guy. And it was and I don't think Scott had the money that he wanted to do the stuff that he wanted to do in that second act.
Right.
I did hear him, I think, on your show saying, maybe I'll revisit that and maybe do it over again. I'm not so sure about that, but you might have to call somebody else.
You have to get an AI Jason.
Right. You're right. Probably do a better job.
No. I want to talk about a couple more current things that you've done that you recommended for me to watch, because I adore Hannah Fierman. She's been on my show like 3 times, and I always enjoy talking to her. And I know you two guys weren't the main. Really cool. Yeah, she's awesome. I know you two weren't the main characters in this movie, but how fun was it putting together New Fear's Eve? For you guys that are watching, I think it was on Screambox. I don't want to get the streaming channel wrong. I think it was Screambox I watched it on.
Yes.
So go check it out on Screambox, New Fear's Eve. But how was it working with Hannah? Was that your first time working with her, or have you worked with her before?
No, that's the first time I met her. My camera still on.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Yep.
Okay. That was the first time I'd met Hannah, and I'd seen her in VHS and stuff like that. And I'd worked with PJ before on a few things. We did Volumes of Blood, and just known those guys for a long time. And when him and Eric get together and they write, I mean, it is some of the funniest stuff to me. We share a very similar sense of humor, just kind of crass, and so we got there, and they pretty much too just said, "Hey, Jason, just do your thing." And so I got to be goofy with Hannah. That's the first time I had met her, and there was a point. She probably does this with everybody just to freak them out, but there was a point where we were all just hanging out right in between a take, and she just looks at me and goes, "I like you," and I'm like, "Stop it." Because it's frightening when she does that.
Well, I met her in days.
She was cool.
I met her days in Atlanta a few years ago, and I had the movie Siren on DVD. You still have it, and that was the follow-up to VHS. So if you've never heard of Siren,
right,
she gets her whole movie. But anyway, that's how she signed the DVD case. "I like you, Charlie," and I was like, "Uh-oh, don't like me."
Yeah, it's dangerous. She's scary.
She's very scary, but
not in real life.
No, I love talking to her. Like I said, she's been on, I think 3 times. She's been on here, and
nice.
I could chat with her all day. She's pretty awesome. Now, you talk about comedy and horror comedies. You gave me 2 pieces to do for homework before this podcast, and the other was The Haunted House of Pancakes. That's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life, man.
Yes.
That had to be a blast working on. Talk to me a little bit about that and how you got approached to do that film. And I loved your character. They didn't show you enough though. You needed to be in there more as your character. What was Flapjack? Is that who it was? Anyway.
Yeah, well, it wasn't originally, but I told Nathan, I was like, we should name this guy Flapjack.
Okay.
And he was like, you know what, we should. So he ended up changing the name. I don't remember what it was before, but he ended up changing the name to Flapjack. So those cats, I didn't really know any of them beforehand. Nathan was looking for somebody, and I believe he's told me that Steve Morris, who I worked with on... well, he just did, I don't know, do you know Steve? Did Bad Apples just recently, and he knows is what I did with him. And he told Nathan about me, and then they were at a convention, and once he told him about me, Nathan watched the movies, and I just happened to be in a couple of them while he was at so he's like, yeah, this guy, I'll cast this guy. So, he connected with me and brought me out. There was a great crew of people. It was a lot of fun. It just, again, I get to be goofy. I'm this guy, I talk like this. I'm, me and Makos and stuff like that. He just kind of let me go and be, obnoxious. And it's just a blast. I always wanted to do like a killer food movie anyways. So, cause that's fun like that. Who wouldn't want to do that?
The premise was pretty cool. It was.
Yeah, and they did great work. Like, so he did. Nathan had made Killer Donuts before that with like C. Thomas Howell and stuff like that.
I missed that one. I didn't see that one.
You should check it out. It's fun. Okay. It's fun. Haunted House of Pancakes is better, but no, it was a lot of fun. And then we got to do that, and if you watch it, Flapjack, he's still around.
Yeah.
And I told Nathan, I was like, we should make a sequel. And
he
basically,
should get his own movie.
Flapjack. Yeah, it's myself and the character. She's eating the pie. I wanted her to like still be alive, like attached to the semi. She like crawls up it and gets in the cab with me, and then that's how like the movie starts. And then
work.
I kind of wanted to play him like Jack from Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
I just wanted to be that kind of vibe, and her and myself just go through with these chaotic like food, pancakes, and waffles.
Dude, she's running from your truck and still eating the pie. I'm like,
oh, the pie has to be like a third character between her and myself. Like,
and I want to give her a shout out. What was that actress's name? I don't recall, or if you remember.
Nikki, and she she's one of the producers. It's the first time I'd met her. We've become friends on social media and since then. And I pitched that sequel idea to her, and she was into it. Nathan seemed into it, but
okay.
I don't know if it'll ever happen. Maybe a short movie, something like that.
Yeah.
It'd be fun.
Like I said, I'm a fan of the when I go to horror conventions, I seek out indie horror folks who are selling their Blu-rays or whatever, and I try to pick up one or two. And I buy a lot of Scream Team releasing movies, and I noticed, and I don't have it yet, but I watched the trailer for Coffin Tooth, where you're in that. Okay. I think I'm going to pick that up. I thought the trailer was interesting. What was your experience working with Scream Team? And I don't know how their distribution system works, if it's just independent directors and folks that come to Scream Team and they pick up the movies. I'm not an expert on that side of the business, but how was it working with those folks? Because you've got a big library, a catalog of stuff you've worked on, and I'm just kind of curious between companies. How was it working on a project like Coffin Tooth versus Harvest Lake? What are the vibes, or are they different?
Yeah, I mean, different movies, so different vibes. So that was Matt Cloud. That was his movie Coffin Tooth, and it's kind of he's paying a homage to things like Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that. He's great. It was a great group of people, great cast and crew. Matt does great character design and stuff like that. So because I'm not in it a real long time. I just come
I have no idea. I just saw it was on your list, and I said I've seen that.
I play. Yeah, it's cool. It's a very cool movie. I play Obi, and Matt, man, he had me all set up. I had an oxygen tank, just the design. I had one bad eye, and it was that was pretty cool to once you're in the clothing, it kind of helps you create the character,
right?
So it's just a different movie and a different crew, but it's kind of all the same too. We're all there for the same purpose. We all just want to have a good time and create, because film is forever. So we're out there trying to do our best to create the best thing we possibly can. So from Harvest Lake to Coffin Tooth, we're all trying to do the same stuff. It's just, and have a good time. And I pretty much every set I go on, I have a good time. It's because we're making movies.
Right.
Now it can, especially when I'm an AD, it can get a little difficult. You can get frazzled or whatever because you're doing a lot of work as the AD, and the crews don't get as much credit as they should for just from Hollywood to independent film, whatever. Because those are the people that are actually really doing the work. I'm just, when I'm an actor, I'm just an actor, and I'm just what people see. But there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that helps me even get there. I'm one of the last people picked to be a part of the film. You know what I mean? So, everybody's out there working hard and trying to make fun stuff.
Well, I'm going to take a hard right turn here, and I'm going to get away from films altogether because there's something else you do that I enjoy. I don't really have TikTok. I have a TikTok account, but I never log into it. I never log into it. So my go-to is Instagram. So I see them pop up on Instagram all the time. But tell me about your dad jokes with your pop. I mean, those are hilarious. And are they catching on TikTok? Are you getting an audience from that? Because I find them hilarious.
I do. I actually, I'm not went viral or anything like that, but I get new followers and likes and comments every day on those, and a lot of old videos too, because the algorithm, they just kind of see what they see. But
right.
Yeah, that stuff, it's kind of crazy now. I'll go to these film conventions and people are like, you're the dad joke guy. They don't even know the movies. They know the dad jokes, and it's always, how's your dad? What's your dad up to? And I'm like, I'm here because I make movies, not because of the dad jokes. But no, I love it. It's so much fun. Like I started doing it because I just wanted to kind of create memories, with my dad and have them,
Right.
and that's how it started. And then he ended up like enjoying it and loving to do it. He's actually been recognized out, grocery shopping and stuff.
And he's kind of the star of
which
those, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty exciting for him. Like he's somebody stopped him in the supermarket and was like, "You're the dad joke guy, aren't you?" So that's pretty cool. It's just a lot of fun. It's just me and my dad are we're very close, as you can probably tell from the videos.
Oh yeah.
So that's where I get my sense of humor from, anyways, and being a weirdo. My mom's pretty weird too, so I get a little bit of weirdness from her as well. I was trying to do Mom Joke Mondays, but she's just not into it. She's like, "I see you lunatics on there. I don't need to be a part of that."
Oh wow. Well, the dad jokes are awesome.
I want to write a book. I want to write a dad joke book with us and do that. That's kind of one of my next steps. So
that sounds like fun. That's a good project for the two of you to work on together too. Yeah. Yeah.
That would be fun. I like dad jokes and a little bit of like father-son history, family history, just the fun stuff.
Now, I was just at Mad Monster in Concord, North Carolina on Saturday, and I got to meet Jane Levy, and I went to her panel, and it was all fun. But I'm going to ask you the same question I asked her.
Okay.
So, Jason Crowe, today, what advice would you give the starting out Jason Crowe in his acting career? If you could go back in time and whisper in your own ear, what advice would you give yourself?
Good question.
That's what she said.
I think for me, and and I have, but it's just have fun. Be grateful for what you do and have fun with it. Don't take it too serious, which I don't. It's because again, it's like I get to do something that's for me is very cool. It's very enjoyable. It's a cool job to have, and be humble about it. Don't treat anybody poorly because you're an actor and they're just getting your coffee. I've seen that happen on sets, by the way, and I hate it. And I'll call people out on it because it's everybody's there. Like I said, have a good time, have fun. So just be humble, enjoy yourself. That's what I would say. Now, new actors, I personally tell them, especially young female actors, is say no. And that's to everybody, but you have the ability to say no. But doesn't matter about contracts, anything like that. If you ever feel unsafe, if you feel like there's something you're doing that might not be good for you, either mentally or physically or whatever, just say no. Like I've seen it happen, and people do things they don't want to do because they feel like that they're going to disrupt the set or whatever. And for the most part, everybody's cool. Everybody understands. And the people that don't, maybe those are the people you don't want to be around anyways.
Right.
So always be able to say no and say, hey, I'm not comfortable with that. Can we, find a different way to do it? Because being around for as long as I have, I've seen some things.
Well, that's some great advice. If you feel uncomfortable or don't want to do something, you should always have that ability to say, not going to do that.
And that's with anything. That's not even just film.
Yeah.
It's just in life in general. Because again, we just want to have fun.
That's right.
Girls just want to have fun.
Well, I'll have a couple more questions for you, and then we'll close it out. One other thing I wanted to ask is, I know you've done a lot of horror, but what other genre would you like to work in? I know you're being an actor, you'll want to run the gamut probably and work in all kinds of stuff, maybe a romantic comedy or a straight up comedy or a drama. But what are some projects that you want to work on that you may see in your future outside of the horror realm?
Oh man, all of it. Like I want to do all the things. I will be doing a romantic film not even a comedy, just it's a short film I'm doing with my friend Brittany. It's called Bridge to Solace. So I'll get to do that, which is something I've been wanting to do. That's something that's not too dramatic, not too comedic. Because to me, writing that line is a lot more difficult than just being funny or scary. Like when I have to play normal, it's so hard for me to do. Normal is not my thing. I really want to, because my parents really want to see it, because they haven't really seen any movie I've ever done, because they're not horror people. So I really like to do like a comedy, is maybe specifically like a family comedy.
I was going to say just show them Space Babes, but never mind.
I did show my dad Space Babes. He did watch that one.
Okay, nice.
He didn't hate it. Mom, on the other hand, she hasn't really watched many of those.
Yeah, probably not.
But man, I want to do all the things. Like when I was in theater, I introduced Shakespeare because our theater teacher had left, and they put me in charge. I didn't know anything that I was doing, but I was like, I want to do some stuff, and I brought Shakespeare in, and everybody in there was like, no, we're not doing that. So that's kind of how it's always been. I've always wanted to like challenge myself and do just all the things. I wouldn't mind doing some more drama, maybe not on the level of the Bad Man drama. Like I'm getting old, and that physical stuff is starting to hurt.
Oh yeah,
but I'd like to do. I kind of want to do something, and I've kind of started writing it about like kind of a father-son relationship because of my dad and my relationship, and kind of a growing older kind of thing, and have its ups and downs, and in the end, just kind of a nice family film. I'd like to do that, I think. And I think that would be probably the biggest turn for me is, going from all the weird horror stuff I've done to a nice family movie that, you could watch on like Disney or Hallmark or something.
Oh, that would be great.
Because you're not going to see many of the things I do on there.
No, not what I've seen so far. Oh, man. Well, Jason, it has been awesome talking to you, man. You've done a lot of great things. Is there anything that you have coming up on the horizon, anything you want to plug? If so, you can go ahead and plug away. I'll put links below. I'll plug the Bandit movies, and if you have anything else specifically you want people to look out for, or how they can contact you, I'll put that below. But I'll be quiet and let you plug yourself for a couple minutes.
I appreciate that. So yeah, definitely check out Gush. That was another movie I didn't get to really talk about too much, but that's. Let's
talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about it.
Yeah,
I don't want to sell it short because it was a great movie and you did have a good role. So let's talk about Gush before we end this.
Sure. So that was another thing of Brian and Scott and Ellie trusting me to bring the character that they had in mind to life, and it's a deep movie. Like it's sexy, it's psychological, but it's really deep as well. And it was some of the stuff was kind of personal to me too, because I've been through some things in my life. So being able to acting in general and making film is very cathartic anyways. You can kind of let a lot of things go. So being able to do that and kind of let some stuff go was nice. It was very traumatic on a day or two, but I didn't necessarily play a good guy by any means, but it's just not. I kind of wanted to portray. So originally, it was written that he just was a jerk. He just was a dick, and he still is. But I wanted to kind of put a spin on it and give him reasons for the way that he was. Right or wrong, he had gone through some trauma as well, obviously, and I wanted to portray it that way. I didn't want it to just be he's just a dick, like because guys go through stuff as well, and we're not always portrayed in the best way, and guys have feelings, so
exactly.
we kind of wanted to show that, and I kind of wanted to show that, so that was very cool to be able to do that, and again, they trust me and allow me to do things that a lot of other people wouldn't cast me for, or at least at the time wouldn't have cast me for. I think they've also allowed me to show that I can do some things other than just be the funny guy all the time, which people seem to have taken notice a little bit and asked me to do other things. So that's cool. And Gush is just, man, it's shot so well, and it is. They up their game every movie. They get better and better every one that they do. So I'm excited to see what they do next. And I originally wasn't even going to be in that one, because they were trying to diversify and just show that they don't have to cast the same people over and over again. But then it just comes down to, we all trust each other so much, and I think with the subject matter and stuff, we just wanted to do that with people that we trust and felt safe with, and so we did. And
personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. Yeah, because there's a built-in chemistry there. Oh yeah. I mean, there's a built-in chemistry there, and you already know, they're going to work well with each other. As long as the role is right, if it was something that was completely not your fit, then yeah, I understand. But
and they do that in Hollywood. Adam Sandler's been doing that for years. Himself and his people, it's
for sure.
It's a great group of people to be around.
Well, the movie's great, and I told Scott I think that was Ellie's best work I've ever seen her in. And she's good in everything, but this was
absolutely
just another level.
I agree. I really like in The Bad Man. She, like the scene with her in the bed and Arthur giving her the gift, which ended up being the eyeball.
Mm-hmm.
That whole scene to me, and the way that she portrays that is so real and visceral that was like, I was like, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever, been able to watch in person. And then we did Gush, and I was like, this is the best thing that I've ever seen in person, because she does. And she's likewise, she just gets better and better. Alice taking a character that doesn't speak and being able to add such character and depth to it, that's hard, man. That is so hard. And I watched Alice give her all, physically and emotionally. Physically, the scene where I don't want to give too much away, but there's a scene where things are happening to Alice's character, and I still have footage on my phone from behind the scenes stuff, and she is just throwing her body into it and just flailing, and I thought she was amazing as well, because that's hard to do. It's hard to portray a character without ever saying a word. I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either. No way.
That's rough.
Well, she's been on the podcast a couple times too. I had her on the first time to promote The Barn 2, and if you've ever seen that, she has a memorable death scene in that movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it.
Yeah, yeah, you should. Everybody should watch it. Everybody should
watch it. But there's another similarity, and I don't know if I mentioned this to Scott in the podcast or not. I can't remember, but the movie, this French horror movie, Inside. Have you ever seen that?
Mm-hmm.
You haven't?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, the first 5 minutes of this film, of the French horror movie Inside, is very similar to the first couple minutes of Gush, and I'll leave it at that. So go check.
Oh, really?
It's a completely different movie. No one's aping anything. It's a completely different film. But the first couple minutes, I was like, oh, this reminds me of Inside. And I don't know if you like intense horror movies, but the French, in the mid-2000s, 2008 with Martyrs. I think that was 2007 with Inside, High Tension. Go check those out, man.
I know Martyrs and High Tension very well. I'll have to check out Inside. Batman gets compared to Martyrs a lot.
Yeah, well, the French version of Inside, they made a shitty U.S. remake. Don't watch that one. The with Beatrice Dahl.
Gotcha. Okay.
But anyway, I'll let you continue promoting. We got our guest talk in. I'm glad you said that, though. I really wanted to touch base on that, and I kind of skimmed over it.
Yeah, no. Well, one, I'm going to go watch Inside now. So I have coming up My Blade Is Your Salvation, James Dean film that we've already started filming on. They just released the finishing funds campaign for that. And I go back actually this weekend. We kind of pick up the next block of stuff, and I get to be funny, but I get to play a detective in that one. So there's and he's a pretty normal guy, other than me playing him. Nothing's ever going to be too normal because I can't do normal. So that's been a lot of fun. That's I got to work with Bill Oberst Jr. For the first time, so that was cool. Felissa Rose, Lynn Lowry, they were all there. So it's been fun so far, and I've actually got to do, because I do a lot of assistant directing work too. So I was second AD on that as well, and I got to cook for everybody.
Oh, nice.
So I did that for several days, and that's another thing, just crafty and stuff on that's like, you have vegans, you have vegetarians, you have people with allergies. So I've done it before, but I was able to cook for everybody, and that was cool. Everybody seemed to like the food. Nobody died, so it was good.
Nice.
We're going to finish The Last Sleepover. That's coming up. I want to say next month. We're planning on finishing that. That's been that. Felissa is also in that one as well. I don't know if you're familiar with that one yet, but it's it's The Last Sleepover. It's a killer coming after 5 friends that are right after high school. What do you call it when you get together years later? Reunion.
Reunion, yeah.
Yeah, man, I've lost for words. That's what happens when you get older. You kind of lose words. And then after the reunion, they're having one last sleepover, and things go down. So that's been a fun one. I'm AD on that one as well, and that's why I like to give a lot of credit to the crew out there, because man, it can get crazy, especially working with so many people. Like I love doing crew work. It's a lot of fun. Doing Bridge to Solace with my friend Brittany. That's a short that's coming up. That's going to be filmed locally. Brittany's super talented. She's in The Last Sleepover as well. She's kind of in the genre of what I do. She's kind of new to the horror. I want to say Last Sleepover might have been her first horror film, but she does a lot of like commercial work and print work. And if you're on Amazon, you'll probably see her pitching Pedialyte or something like that. But she's a great actress. She's doing a lot more movies. She just did. Do I have the sticker over here? I'm gonna promote my friends here. Michael Smallwood's Tonight and maybe Tomorrow. Great movie. Got to see that at Genre Blast. It's not my film. I have nothing to do with it, but you should go check it out. It's good stuff.
All right.
And all kinds of things, man. If you just follow my dad jokes of the day on Instagram and TikTok, I'm usually trying to tell people what I'm up to out there. I just promoted Mr. Buzzkill in one of my dad jokes, so that's streaming now, so you can check that out.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate you being on the show. It was fun talking to you. Yeah, Felissa's been one I'm trying to get to come on the podcast. It's been kind of hard to nail her down. And I'm not going to name names, but you said sometimes people get a little too big for their britches. I had someone on a few years ago. They kind of blew up, and now they won't come back on. They're too busy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I digress.
I definitely know some of those. I might know that person.
You probably do. The world kind of does now. But let me stop before I give it away. Anyway, it was a blast having you on, man. I appreciate it. And you're welcome to come back on anytime. Like I told Scott, I think you're a talented dude, and I enjoy watching you work.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. It's happy to be here and talk some movies with you. And we'll have to just get on and just talk movies and comic books one day.
That sounds good. That's right up my alley for sure.
And just We'll just nerd out.
Sounds great. My website is down now for this year. I'm bringing it. This is kind of an exclusive, I guess, because I kind of semi-retired.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I semi-retired from writing, but not really. I'll be back in 2027. So this is normally where I would say go to valuablepublications.com, but if you do, you're not going to get anything. It's closed right now. It's closed for remodeling. But I'm Charles Campbell, small town horror author. This is Horror 421, the podcast. And again, thank you, Jason, for coming on. And we'll see you next time on Horror 421, the podcast. Peace out.
Bye.
Just kidding. We're back. We have one more thing to discuss. Now, we won't close out the podcast again. This is at the very end. So this is bonus footage for our listeners. Jason has one more thing he wants to talk about. So I'm going to be quiet. And let's go, Jason.
Yeah, I meant to bring this up earlier because when we went off air, we kind of talked about, what your body does to you as you get older. And I just turned 47 October 2nd of 2025. And on my birthday, I was filming, and this movie, I can't believe I forgot to talk about it. So it's Sean Burkett's film, The Devil You Know, and it's a home invasion film. Sean has made movies like can I curse on here?
Sure you
I
can.
think I did. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you want?
Don't Fuck in the Woods. Don't Fuck in the Woods 2.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with those?
I saw the first one.
Okay.
Didn't see the second one.
So I'm in the second one. Short hair, no beard. You probably wouldn't even recognize me. But so I'm working with them on the Devil You Know, and it is super intense. It's probably The Bad Man was intense for me as an actor. This one was like some of the most intense stuff that I've ever done on film, and I hope it plays, because even on The Bad Man, when I was doing the intense stuff inside, I could feel it. I'm like, oh man, like this is good, like, because the way you feel sometimes doesn't play out physically. So even when I'm watching The Bad Man, I'm like, I could have done that better. But inside, I felt like I was really doing some stuff. So I hope it goes differently for The Devil You Know, because it's a home invasion film. A man and his wife take a weekend to a cabin. While they're there, 3 men break in. And it becomes a bit more supernatural and things like that as well. But they break in, and basically the man is trying to protect his wife throughout the whole thing. And the way it was written, and Sean, again, people just let me get away with stuff. And I just want everybody to know out there, like, as an actor, like, if you're directing me, I will do whatever you tell me to do. It's your movie. It is your. So if you don't want me to ad lib, I just say, Jason, don't, just shut up and do the lines, and I'll do it. But luckily, most people don't do that. They kind of let me go. And when I first read it, the male character was very much the tough guy. Even when he's tied up, he's yelling at the people, and I'm gonna kill you. And that's that cliche. It kind of, and I told Sean, I was like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, everybody does that. I want to be scared. I want to be a guy that's, not okay with killing people. It upsets him when he has to do these things. He's scared for himself. He's scared for his wife. And he let me go with it, and I really got into it, and I really hope it plays out. And my buddy Del Miller, who I've known for many years, probably, I think actually all the time I've been making film, I met him on Dead Moon Rising. He's a stuntman. He does stunt work as well as an actor. And so on my 47th birthday, it literally hit midnight, and it was my birthday. And we were filming a particular scene, and once they say Roland, I'm like, hi, my name's Jason Crowe. It's my birthday. Welcome to Jackass. And I throw myself down a set of stairs because Dell was teaching me how to throw myself downstairs, and I needed it for the scene. Actually, I didn't need it for the scene. This is another thing that I do. It wasn't written in the scene that I get thrown downstairs. I said, hey, can I throw myself down the stairs? And they're like, well, yeah, if you want to do that. And then they ended up kicking my ass throughout the entire film. But on my 47th birthday at midnight, I was throwing myself downstairs. And and the next morning on my birthday, I felt 47 because that hurt. But it was, that was another thing. It was just a lot of fun to do something different, and I don't get to do much anything that's different. But being able to portray somebody that's actually a male character that's actually scared and not trying to be the tough guy the whole time, that was fun. That was very challenging, and I hope it portrays and comes out. But The Devil, you should check it out when it comes out.
We will check it out.
And then tell me if I'm crazy or not.
Well,
I was. It was my birthday when I got thrown down the stairs.
It's his birthday. Well, that concludes our bonus content. We'll see you next week on Horror 421, the podcast. Peace.